fuck Europe, fuck America, and you know what? Fuck Africa. Do you?
Como desenvolverse en proceso, entender.
Are you the one walking down the river, you bitch Negro? This is no fucking fairy tale.
I'm going to die, and I'm very happy about that fact, you know? And I want to die having participated positively on, for lack of a better expression, my human community, you know? And this is what I care about, and so this is what I do. I was never a kid like that was extremely passionate about cinema, stuff like that. But I wanted to create my own things, you know. So in school, you know, after high school, I ended up enlisting to go on a course of production operations in media, you know. So that's sort of my background, where I developed this desire. I wanted to be the best cameraman in the world. I left the course, you know, with my diploma, ready to be the best cameraman Portugal had ever seen. So for the first time, I need a job. I'm there. That's the place where I'm going to do. And I could not get a job, man. All of a sudden, I started to understand why all those other, some of them Portuguese, black people were so angry about certain things that I did not quite understand. So, and I kind of was introduced to a different dynamic of what it is to be within the workplace, you know, as a foreigner, one way or another. But I think more importantly, it's not the foreign element, but as a black man in a white society, and what that meant. It was my first confrontation with that when I needed a job, you know. So they couldn't happen. I was very sad and frustrated because Portugal had become my home, you know. It was my place, and all of a sudden it was very strange, the dynamics, you know. I had a good CV, I had good skills, you know. I deserved some kind of chance, I thought, you know, and it didn't happen. But at the same time, it made me go back to the UK for a while, but then ultimately to Angola, you know, where I went to work in the public television.
Right here, right now. It's fantastic. I love it. It's great. It's so good.
A lot of the times at the television, you know, I started to be a writer. I wanted to be a cameraman, but because my CV allowed me to do other things, and the TV station had enough cameramans, I was required somewhere else, you know. So I went. I didn't have too much choice. I had just started my job. So I began writing, directing a few programs, producing a few programs, and then I started to get a bit ambitious, you know, because I wanted to shoot things that they were not asking me to shoot. I wanted to develop content they were not wanting me. Some of them were politically incorrect, you know, in terms that it would poke power structures in places that that particular television at the time was not interested in doing, having a lot of clashes with the directors of the TV. So I found myself in 2 or 3 different occasions without a job. Like, as a public servant, you are always a public servant, right? So they don't necessarily fire you. They ask you to go have a breather, you know, go think about your life, son. Like, so I was invited to do that a few times, and each time I went to do that, I developed something work, just to stay sane, you know what I mean? So some of the things that I could not transform into broadcast content, I made my work tent, you know, I just did them, you know, because I had no work and I wanted to be mentally sane, you know, so I was developing that work.
We're gonna grab Africa, we're gonna make it spread, and we're gonna fuck it in the ass. But it can't be just like that. We gotta fuck it in the ass while they laugh or while they
I have always pursued some kind of emotional truth. and this is what is important to me until today. There's nothing that has changed too much from the first videos I did, from the videos or performances or music or photographs or whatever it is that I might be doing. I'm not looking for a language. I'm not looking for a format. I'm not looking for uniqueness. I'm not looking for originality. You know what I mean? I want to be genuine. You know, if I'm genuine, if I'm connected to my emotional truth, fuck, it's me, and there's only one me. You know, I had a series of photographs, and this curator called Fernando Alvim, who was curating the Luanda Triennale, you know, he's an artist himself, and he was in Luanda, and he was kind of checking if there are artists out there and you have stuff, bring to me, let me see it, because I'm wanting to curate, you know, an art event like it never happened in Luanda. And I was just one more guy who had those photographs. That one of those times that I was asked to go have a breather, I developed these photographs, which I wanted to film, but my crew didn't show up. So I called my cousin. I said, dude, I'm dressed like a lady. I want to do this shit today. You know, my sister did my makeup, you know what I mean? I was in location, the crew didn't show up, so I transformed the film into a photo session. I did that. I mean, there was no need for it, nobody was looking for that. So 1 year later, here comes Fernando Alvim saying, if you have stuff, I want to check it out, bring it. I took some of the pictures. He says, I want that, I want that, I want that. I said, what do you mean you want that? No, I want to buy it. I said, what do you mean you want to buy it? For whom? I'm doing this collection. So I said, okay, like, how much, man? So, you know, so all of a sudden, you know, something that I'd done 1 year earlier with no particular goal, and it was not even my plan to have it as photographs. I wanted to film it because, you know, I knew the narrative I wanted to express. So you know what I mean? I can make it a video, a photograph, a song. The only relevant thing, is it true to me? You know what I mean? Does it connect to an emotional truth? Does it connect to a perspective I'm trying to put out there? Is it fun for me? Is there like an energy in it for me? And if those things are there, it's my language.
I bought Europe. Your pride of a Europe that no longer belongs to you. Your ignorance of contemporary consequence. Your comfort and aristocratic preservation priorities. The simplicity of supremacy. I bought it. I bought Europe.
I like this question. I'm sorry that like they might be a bit dramatic or something, but my question is, what are you willing to die for? Because we're not willing to die for everything, man. And it's okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care about everything. I'm not concerned or moved or touched by everything. And it doesn't mean that the things that I'm not touched by are not important or relevant or crucial even. They might be, just not for me. So what's important for me, if we are in touch with what moves us, we are going to relate to our environment in an engaged fashion. And if I acknowledge the sense of my limitation, because I don't care about everything, and I understand that even the things that I don't care about are relevant, you become important to me because you care about something else. And if this environment is going to function, I need you because you care about that. I care about something else. Together we cover more ground. Do you know what I mean? And I can still be focused in what I'm focused upon. So I think it is, I feel compelled to empower individuals. I like when people feel good and feel great. You know, one of the best things for me is to see a soccer player after he scores a goal. You know, like a swimmer when he wins the race. I fucking love those. I love success, man. I really love success. And then it's a scary fucking thing to say. What is success? What is being success? You know, now, no, dude. Success is your sense of purpose accomplished. Your sense of joy explored. Your sense of possibility turned opportunity, turned tangible reality. That is success for me, for an individual. Success is you have a thought, and then, man, you have a ring. Right? Like this journey from the intangible to the tangible, it's fucking amazing. And I feel compelled to declare this to other human beings. My indignation is not with politics. My indignation is with the capacity to suffer that we have. And it's indignation and admiration at the same time of how capable and how resilient human beings are, how destructive and how magical human beings are.
Fazemos um vídeo, tipo, eu a dançar, eu disse a ideia é genial, meu, a ideia é genial, porque eu, como qualquer angolano, meu, estou cheio de ginga, tipo, eu, epá.
Yeah, well, what we see is a very animated character, you know, recording a music video that is going somewhat wrong, you know, and we end up resting with him having kind of a nervous breakdown to the camera, you know, where all his anxieties and insecurities come to the surface about who he is as a pop star and who he is as a pop wannabe, but also as an immigrant citizen and an Angolan citizen, and his dynamic with those things, you know, about what is it that we care about and what the distance between what we do, how does that represent us and our image and who we are, what, you know, those kinds of dynamics, you know. Democracia, the name itself is like, it's a play on democracy, of course, but in demo, right? Like a the finalized thing. So it's almost like a demo of democracy, you know, and being, I don't know, an ingredient of this exercise. We seem to be very, I don't know, proud, and I think there's an element of proudness, I guess. The democratic systems have provided a lot of solutions that are good, but we are in demo stages, you know. We are kind of trying shit out and doing that. So it's somewhat a fun commentary on that journey.
Forever Angola, forever Angola, forever Angola.
É uma cena que um gajo sabe, quando um gajo ouve essa música na rádio, achas que eu ia me expor?
Yeah, I do think it is very, very important to what degree we take what seriously, you know, and for how long. You know what I mean? It's very, very important. I think we are very good in recognizing that we do exist within time, but sometimes we tend to forget what that means or what that can provide to us. And I think humor, it's something that definitely reminds us of time and timing, you know? And so I like humor a lot. I'm a great fan of humor as a narrative transportation, you know? So I don't know, I work with it. It's the humor is something that I can indeed tell you that is intentional, you know, that I am aware of, that I use it as a tool, you know, and I hope to develop, I don't know if it's my humor, but I do have a sense of having a sense of humor, or wanting to apply a sense of humor in particular narrative.
Do not worry. Just like the previous owners, I have no intention of making the US of A's people any less ignorant, less lazy, less consequentless. I did buy the US of A, not Americans.
Well, we were just talking about the presence on a work from Nasty Vicious, which is my collective work with Vic Pereiro, in which we have Mandela and we have Hitler, you know? And a lot of the times, the word that gets attached to that image is provocation, you know? How dare you put Mr. Mandela and Hitler, you know, they say quietly, together in the same picture. They are very similar because they are very determined people. They have a very eloquent capacity to lead, you know, to communicate their sense of leadership, and they're very successful at what they did. What's the, you know, so the question here that we go, what is the difference between Hitler and Mandela? And if you find that, that's what I'm trying to tell you that matters. You know, we all participate in this world. You know, Hitler participated, Mr. Mandela participated, you know, Gaddafi participated, Watts, Edison participated. I want to participate. You can participate. Between Mandela and Hitler, where are you? There's something that they have that we know their names. So what are we going to do with our name and our capacity? We are good and we are evil. What are we going to do with that? Do you know what I mean? Fuck politics, not because it's not relevant, but I'm interested in something that is more constant, because I can address things politically without ever touching another human being. I cannot touch a human being without engaging with his political state. So where the fuck are we going to start, you know? Where is the focus going to be? I have no interest in politics, man. It gets me even rattled, you know? I'm into people, I'm into life. You know, that's what moves me. For me, there are three basic fundamental characters that I keep returning to, right? It's the preacher, it's the joker, you know, and he's the public speaker. And he can take many different forms, a politician being one of them. So within those three characters, I think I established the dynamic of my narratives, you know, and I tend to sometimes combine them, you know, or go in and out of them within the same statement sometimes, one way or another. Hopefully the work is always, these characters that I use are always at the service of being ambiguous enough that you cannot just say, you have to engage. It becomes not about what the fuck they're saying. It becomes, no, what do I think? This guy, yeah, always spoke about that, okay, I understand. But me, what I think, you know, what I take from this, what I, you know, so I desire that interaction. That is interactivity for me, you know, when the things that I'm expressing and with the perspectives that I'm expressing are real enough, have enough life in them, have enough contradiction in them for you to say, okay, I need to think about what the fuck I think about. What's my position, you know, instead of evaluating what your position is your position or the position of what I'm witnessing gives me a chance to contemplate where I'm at. That is success of these characters at work for me. So in this performance, I want to acknowledge, as I mentioned, I think, that pain is real. Do you know what I mean? Suffering is real. But still, we are going to die. What are we going to do with that suffering? So the show wants to recognize to some extent that pain is real, but at the same time, it wants to galvanize you to grab that pain and to make it consequent, you know? I believe that is very, very important, at least for me, because I cannot live better if the people around me are fucking sad and just feeling shit, you know? So it is important that people, certain things need to be acknowledged, man. Depression is not a joke, you know? It kills human beings a lot. And it's a respectable thief, for example, you know? There are these things that are stealing life from us, are stealing from us the capacity to activate our dreams, to activate our sense of joy, our capacity to participate in the communities that we belong to. So I want to address some of these respectable thieves. We cannot allow them to steal life from us. So it is a show that is, I can say, it has a high level of intensity, is a dark show in terms of its visuals, you know, it's about dark blues, it's about black, there's some white here and there. So we try to create an atmosphere that kind of engages with you, you know, kind of with the whole of you, with your physicality in that way. So it intends to be a journey. I was talking today about this, and for the first time it came to me this image of what it could be. I would be happy, you know, if you leave the performance, and when you leave, that it's like that sensation, you know, when you have a dream, you wake up and you are not sure if what happened was a nightmare or a string of important revelations to you. You know, you don't know if it is something for you to forget about and cleanse your mind, or if it should be something to reflect a little bit about, because that dream exposed a few things that maybe you should take 5 minutes to consider. You know, I'll be happy if it's the dynamic, you know, between who people are entering the room and who people are leaving. If it is an ambiguous search to know what's useful for them in it, if there's that urge to find that, we've succeeded.
Am I the only one wanting to feel free? How come you can't act? If you're rich, you are rich, and if you're poor, you are poor.
I don't know, it's very difficult for me to encapsulate what my work is, but I think I see myself as a cook, you know, as a chef. That's the best way I can describe what I do. I gathered a bunch of different ingredients and I try to make the best dish possible, you know, and I try to use the same ingredients that everybody else is using to cook my dish. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to make original dishes, I'm trying to make delicious ones, you know? So this is what my attempt is. I'm not a musician, I work with music. I'm not a video artist, I work with video. I'm not a performer, but I perform, you know? So I'm using all of these things to the best of my ability, trusting professionals and other artists that give me the time of day to engage with these things, you know. Billy Bijoka told me something once. He told me that art is a game, but it's an adult's game. So I'm playing this game, you know. I'm cooking away and hopefully creating delicious dishes now and again.
Quer fazer massa, homem da massa, quer massa.